Hello and welcome back to Doctor Who in Mind. I'm Stephen, I'm a Doctor Who fan and I'm also a depression sufferer. And I'll say that again, depression sufferer, because according to my brother, the automatically generated subtitles on my last video announced to the world, if anybody watched it that way, that I'm a detection surfer, whatever the hell that is, but no, depression sufferer. And as usual, I'll be talking a little bit about my mental health and then about Doctor Who. And today, the Doctor Who story in question is Nightmare in Silver, starring Matt Smith from his final season in 2013. So we'll come on to that in a little while, but first, let's just pop outside for a moment or two. Okay, I'm outside in the fresh air now. It's the early hours of Friday morning as I'm recording this. This won't be posted until Tuesday evening. But anyway, firstly, a bit of an update on my ear infection, which has thankfully cleared up. The interesting thing is, when it cleared up, for the first day or so after it cleared, I noticed I had reduced hearing in that ear. And now that's gone, and unbelievably, I've got better hearing than before I had the infection. So it just shows that something must have been brewing for quite a while before things came to a head. Now, I've come out here because it's quiet, and one of the things I like, especially when I'm feeling depressed, which I'm not at the moment, but when I am feeling depressed, I like the quiet. And on my worst days, I will tuck myself under the duvet and just lay there still and quiet. And the last time this happened, a few days back, it was quite a hot day, so I had to have my bedroom window open. Now my bedroom window is at the front of the house, and so you hear all the noises of people passing by, and it can be quite disconcerting because the brain doesn't quite connect. There's all these people wandering by, they're going on with their normal every day-to-day lives, chatting, walking about. You hear car doors banging, front doors opening, closing, just going on with a normal life as if that day isn't a complete write-off, which of course it isn't for them, but it is for me. And there's that feeling of disconnect. It is so hard to describe. The best analogy I can come up with, say you sat with your family and they're all enjoying this TV programme that's going on and on and on, but they love it, and you think there's nothing there, there's nothing to it. You just want to sit it out because you hope that there'll be something good coming on afterwards. Well, that's kind of how depression days can be. I want them to pass by as soon as possible, and the quickest way I can make them pass is by opting out of them, as crazy as it sounds, because if I get up and try to interact with the day in any way on my worst days, it just makes it drag on and on and on. So that's just an example of how the worst days can be for me. But anyway, I'm just going to show you, let's go through 360 because I'll show you where I am, because I'm at the top of this viewing platform on the outskirts of Lincoln, and behind me, well, I mean, the city is over there somewhere. I mean, you can't really see it at the moment because of the foliage, but when autumn gets a bit more in and all the leaves come down, I come back up here again and you maybe see a bit more, but I'll make my way down the steps, and I mean, it's a bit disgusting up here. I mean, people just leave their litter all over. It's not nice, but when you get to the top it's a decent view, so that's why I came up here. sun's coming out, looks like it's going to be a nice day. I'm meeting my mum for lunch again, a little bit later, 12:30. She's coming into town to do some shoe shopping because she's into her power walking for the exercise, and she needs some good, strong, sturdy footwear for the slightly more treacherous autumn weather. Okay, well, I think I'll leave it there for now, and I'll see you back at the house and we'll talk about Nightmare in Silver. Now here's an interesting story about my 11th Doctor action figure. Now I think I bought this on eBay. It was either eBay or Amazon, probably eBay. I'm not on eBay anymore because I had a unfortunate incident, where someone tried to defraud me, but that's a whole different story. But anyway, this is a much nicer story. I bought this 11th Doctor action figure, and it arrived, and it turned out that it wasn't actually an 11th Doctor action figure. It's actually the action figure of the Ganger Doctor from Rebel Flesh. And the only difference between this action figure and the normal Matt Smith action figure is that with this one you get this little clip-on mask to transform him into the Ganger Doctor. Now, I didn't mind getting this. I mean, it was a bonus to get this mask. Doesn't detract from the figure at all because you can take it off. And the other thing it came with was a rather dubious looking sachet of Ganger Goo, which I've never opened, and that's what, 8 years on. Anyway, when the person who sold me this action figure realised that they'd sent the Ganger action figure rather than the standard Matt Smith action figure, they actually sent me a completely unsolicited refund for sending me the wrong figure, even though what they sent me is actually better than what I should have been getting anyway. So, I won there. That was quite bizarre. But anyway, I won't need the mask to talk about this. But anyway, it's time to start talking about Nightmare in Silver, and you know what that means. Okay, let's get him ready for his moment. Oh, it's time to talk about Doctor Who. I've got the Doctor in my hat. I have to stay very, very, very still, or he'll fall out and go splat. Aha, right. We'll fold that one up a bit more. Okay, well, get the Doctor securely in place and we can talk about the story. Nightmare in Silver. Okay, I'm going to say something that you don't often hear a lot of people say, I think. And that is that Series 7 is my favourite of Matt Smith's 3 Doctor Who series. I mean, I know most people either prefer 5 or 6, but I prefer 7. I think 5 is excellent. 6 for me is a bit patchy, a bit hit and miss, but we could talk more about that when the number wheel throws a story from there. But 7, I just absolutely love 7, and I know some people are a bit critical about how the stories are sort of standalone, relatively unconnected. There's no overall season arc, but we don't need one. I mean, we've got the 50th anniversary special at the end of it all, so it's nice to just relax before that and have these relatively unconnected stories. And okay, Nightmare in Silver, not the strongest of the bunch, but I still quite like it. And when I watched it last night, the first thing that struck me was how colourful it is. I mean, it is just visually gorgeous, with the theme park setting and the sort of starscape and just everything that's going on there. It's absolutely lovely. Of course, it's a Cyberman story, and okay, I'll be honest with you, I'm more Team Dalek than Team Cyberman. Cybermen, whatever. I prefer the Daleks, but that's not to say I don't enjoy a really good Cybermen story. I mean, there are plenty that I do love. This one is nothing very special, in my opinion, in terms of plot. And I know the intention was, the stated intention of the production team was to make, and the writer, I think, Neil Gaiman, was to make the Cybermen scary again. Well, I don't think they'd ever really stopped being scary. I mean, I think they were pretty scary throughout David Tennant's run. I mean, I used to enjoy the clomp, 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 stomp, 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 and all the sort of noises that they made as they moved, and that's gone in this story. It doesn't happen. They sort of move silently, they move fast, very fast indeed, and I'm not so keen on that effect with a really quick moving Cyberman. Thankfully we only see that once, but the rest of the story, they behave relatively normal, but we just don't get the noises, and they don't have an awful lot of dialogue in this story either, because that falls mostly to the character Webley, and then of course the Doctor. Once the Doctor gets half taken over, or 48 point whatever it is percent of his brain gets taken over, and for the lot of the episode, the Doctor is battling himself effectively, with Matt Smith playing a double role of the Doctor on one side and what he refers to as Mr. Clever on the other side. And these are not particularly satisfactory scenes for me. They start off okay, but it just goes on so long. I think it would have been better if the Doctor had been taken over a bit later in the episode. It had not dragged on for quite so long. The other notable feature of this story, of course, it is the guest performance by Warwick Davis, who, that is a really nice, thoughtful performance. First time I watched it, I must have been half zoned out and not paying attention or something. I must have been overtired, I don't know. But anyway, I didn't pick up on all the clues that his character was the Emperor until it was actually revealed by Clara's, the girl that Clara was looking after, Angie is it? But anyway, there's so many hints dropped throughout the story that I must have been, eyes closed and ears closed watching it the first time round in 2013 to not pick up on that. I mean, I'm not the first person in the world to not pick up on staring you in the face hints in a Doctor Who story, and I won't be the last. So I think I appreciated a little bit more on this watch through, seeing that there was some actually directions pointing that way for those clever enough, those just with a perfectly standard brain would know that Porridge was the Emperor. My brain was substandard when I first watched it, so I didn't know that. Anyway, it's the story sort of ends with as a lot of them in this period do, with the Doctor speculating on who Clara might be, and of course we're about to find out in the next Matt Smith story. And so Nightmare in Silver is really the last sort of straightforward adventure for Matt Smith's Doctor before he gets flung into his final trilogy. Now let me be careful. We've got Name of the Doctor, Day of the Doctor, Time of the Doctor. There's so many of the Doctors, and not to mention Night of the Doctor with Paul McGann, of course. But there's so many of the Doctor things, and I get them a bit confused in my mind. But Nightmare in Silver is sort of the last ordinary Matt Smith adventure before we go really epic scale. So I'll take him out because I think that's really all I've got to say about that one. I haven't got an awful lot to say about it compared to some stories. I will just say that it is the best Cyberman story to have the word silver in the title. no contest there. Because we well established what I think of the other one. Anyway, I put him down, and then I will draw a number to see what I'm watching next. Now, because today, and probably furthermore, I'm filming on my phone to get better picture quality overall, and it's my phone I usually draw the number on, but I'm going to do that again. So please forgive temporary poor picture quality while I switch to filming on my webcam on the computer so I can use the phone to make the draw. Time to make the draw. There are currently 290 options left on the wheel. So let's see what I'm talking about next week. See if I can hit it this time. If you remember last week I missed. Okay. Yeah, we are spinning. There are still several Doctors who have not had any Hartnell, Dowson, Pertwee, Davison, Tennant, Eccleston, McGann. Let's see what we've got. 56. Okay. And number 56 is... Scroll list. Oh, okay. Okay, well, I hope you're ready for some Pertwee, because next week I'll be talking about The Mind of Evil. But until then, please like, please comment, please subscribe, please tell your friends, and please tell my friends too. Bye for now.